Go ahead, Janet.
Yeah, it's making up harmonies as you go along.
That's basically what it's going to end up coming down to. Okay, so next slide. So this is the official definition, a way to build good habits. And I found out that I knew they talked about it in jazz and in barbershop and in old-fashioned childhood discipline, but I didn't know they spoke about it in law. But for our purposes, it's exactly what Janet said. It's harmonizing, but in the barbershop style. Next. 4 parts only. When you go to Woodshed, there are some general guidelines, and here they are. So the lead sings the melody, as usual in barbershop. The tenor sings the natural harmony above, like you would if you were harmonizing with your family. The bass sings the pillar foundation notes, usually like the roots in the fifth. And the baritones get the garbage part. Where's Julie when you need her? Because she knows that. She'd be the first to tell you. Whatever's left is what the baritones get. So there are some official requirements though. And here they are. This part you might not have known. If you're really woodshedding, it should be with a song that no one knows except for the melody singer who's singing it. And they should also make it a simple melody. And that melody, that simple melody, should have what's called an implied harmony. Meaning you can tell where that melody's going and you want to go there with it, with harmonizing notes. There shouldn't really be any surprises as to where that melody and harmony is going to go. And that it's only 4 parts. I said 4 parts only on the last slide because this part's really important because you can't actually woodshed with more than 4 parts. All right, next. Oh yes, patience. Patience is required when you're woodshedding. And you'll find out why tonight even. But there are guidelines. I already told you what some of the guidelines were. There's guidelines coming up. Let me just ask for a quick idea before we move on. Who has ever woodshedded before? Let's see. Kate, why don't you show me the whole screen? All right, raise your hand if you've woodshedded before. Okay, I'm seeing some. Keep your hands up because I'm moving through all 4 screens here. Okay, so we've got maybe a third of the people, and of course, all the people in black. All right, let's move on to the next screen. That "whew" could be repeated many times. All right, step 1. You just listen to the melody. So I asked my good buddy and the lead in my quartet to do me a favor so you wouldn't have to listen to me the whole time and slowly record a song that we're going to woodshed to. So I'm going to let you listen to this melody, and we're going to break rule number 1, which is that it's an unknown melody, because it's going to be easier in this venue to be able to, for you guys to know the melody to start with and to kind of have an idea. All right. But anyway, this is, oh, here we go. Here it comes. Make sure you can tell me if you can hear it.
land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
Could you hear that okay? Everybody's nodding? Good. All right. So actually, Kate, take me back to the full view again. Because actually, sorry about that. Show them the second screen, then go back to the full view.
So you want them to see step 1 again?
I want them to see step 2 because you already listened to the melody, which was step 1. And you actually take the time to sit and listen and don't try to harmonize at all. Step 2 is what we're going to do next. Is we're going to find what's called the harmony highway. And we're going to listen to the melody again, but you're going to hum or ooh a note that you think fits with the implied harmony. But we're only going to do it on the chord, on each pillar chord. So if you can see me, I'll go like this when I want you to make a change. Okay? So I can't hear you, so you're going to be great. So Diane's going to sing it again. I'm going to tell you where to move chords. All right? Here goes Diane.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island.
Okay, and I'm going to stop her for a sec because that's a very good question from Margaret. How do you know where do is? And that is important. So this is actually the note that she's starting on is do. Do, re, mi, fa, so, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, right? So this land is, she's doing do, re, mi for her first 3 notes. And the reason Margaret was the one to ask that question is because generally the bass is most likely going to be on do as well. So the bass is going to, there's her first note. All right, so I'm going to play this again, and we're going to do the pillars again. Whoops. Go back. Here we go.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
Okay, now let me see everybody's faces. So how many of you felt like you had some success finding where those chords needed to land? All right, good. That's a high level of success. That's a good thing. I have to tell you, interrupt this a little to tell you that Karen Sweeters originally asked me to teach a class on tag singing and a class on woodshedding. And I thought, if there's any 2 classes that I need to be real live with people for, it's those 2 classes. So we changed the first class to that, what is barbershop class. And we're doing this class so that you can at least learn the rules and get a chance to practice without necessarily everybody hearing you and being in the position of, am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Whatever. Okay. So now I'm going to play Diane one more time, but I want Kate to unmute everyone. No, actually, I'm not going to play Diane. I'm going to sing it. We're going to unmute everyone, and I'm going to stop until I hear chords. All right. So everybody's unmuted. Is that just clicking a button or do they all have to unmute themselves? Kate?
Muted ourselves.
Okay.
I
so
asked
all of you need
everybody to unmute.
yourself.
So
My God, you're brave.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. with
This.
this is an experiment, but
Experiments.
I think it might work.
Yes, it will.
All right. I think almost everybody I can see is unmuted, except for Sue Martin. So now, this that was done. Find it, something. Oh, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to say, I'm going to go. Stop. I'm going to go. This land is yours. And I'm going to stop until I hear a chord there as it bounces among you that we think is pretty good. And then I'll let you know when to move the chord. Right? So here we go. This land is Okay. Okay, you have to have a signal. There we go. Here's my signal. All right. So
Think of something else.
remember what we're doing. What we're doing is that one chord, and we're only moving if we have to move, right? So we're gonna try it again. This land is
Everybody else singing is hard to hear.
My dog is gonna howl.
Okay.
You howl.
Andy, you're having way too much
So what I'm hearing is that the first chord, you're awesome.
Yeah.
The second chord, you are moving off the note to another note that you don't necessarily have to move.
All right.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna,
'cause we're just doing the pillars.
huh? So let's move on to the next slide. Okay,
Yeah,
Kate,
no way.
mute everybody. I have to remember to unmute myself. So we still have somebody that's not muted. They're still wanting to make this happen all by themselves. Okay, so we're moving on to the next slide because here's one of the rules. Step 3. Hey, can you mute those people?
I am actively trying. I don't know why they're not.
She's probably on two different pieces,
Oh, that might be it. Okay.
so she needs to mute both of them.
I'm trying to find where it is.
Does anybody see who it is?
It's Andrea J.
It looks like Andrea, and she's frozen too, I think.
Sounds like a recording of what we just did.
I hope not. Oh, Marion from Sony is not muted.
I was just talking. I said, I think it's Andrea.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have to move on and try and ignore that. So the next slide, Kate. Oh, good.
Thank you, Andrea.
Maybe it was Kate.
Nope. I'd take no credit for that.
Okay. So we did step 1. We did step 2. Step 2 is finding the pillars. Step 3 is stick to your guns. All right. We're going to sing the lyrics with the notes, but still you're going to stay on your note until you must move off the note. So I'm going to give you your first note. Bases. Sorry, your basses, that's going to be your first note. This line is your tenors, that's going to be your baritones, that's going to be your first note. All right, we're going to try it one more time with me with it still muted. So you're going to say these words with me now, but you're going to stay on the same note until you have to move. Here we go. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands. Let's just go that far. Let me see everybody again. How did you do? All right, let's hear it again. Unmute yourselves.
You're really a glutton for punishment, aren't you, Karen?
I know. I know it. Here we go. We're going to all sing together, but we're going to hold the notes that I go like this. All right? This is land.
And this
Here we go. This land is So let me ask you a question. Bases, did you really have to move? Did you have to move? Were you forced to move? Probably not. Your land.
And it's
Actually, maybe bases were forced to move, right?
Mhm.
All right, here we go. One more time, go.
Karen, I can't see you move your hand because other people are like, you have to make some noise so that the screen shows me you.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm spotlighted.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you.
Count us in, count us in.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
This land is your land. Is my land. From
Okay, all right, mute everybody again.
Karen, that means you have to unmute you. It is both a blessing and a curse
Okay,
to mute
I've
all
got it.
buttons.
So now, can any of the rest of you hear? Let me see everybody again. Can any of the rest of you hear that there are some chords happening there?
Yes,
Most
there are.
everybody can hear. Yeah, we can also hear a few people that are kind of like in their own little chord world, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And you've also said stick to your guns, so I guess
that's right. I did say stick to your guns. All right, so now we're going to look at the next step.
Don't double notes. Stay close to home. Yep.
Stay close to home. Right. So once you've chosen a note, and once you've stuck to your guns, when you do move, don't go far. Find a note really close. It might only be a half step away. It might be a third away. If you're a bass, sometimes it might be a fifth or a sixth away, you know, where you have to go to be part of that chord. And you'll notice I said here, jumping around will be tempting, but it can create confusion, frustration, and chaos, especially on a Zoom call. All right. So now let's quick review those 4 steps. Just show us those 4 slides, please. So step 1 was listening to the melody. We did that pretty well. Step 2 was finding the pillar notes, the harmony highway, the notes that you're going to sing within. Step 3 was sticking your guns, staying on that note until you're forced to move. And then step 4 is when you are forced to move, stay close to home. All right, now, I think there was one more step. Stay zen. Yes, that was part of step 4. Don't trespass, which means you always want to have a 4-part chord if you can. You don't want to double with another part. So if you're singing somebody else's note, the same note they're singing, or even an octave that they're singing, you might want to look for something that's missing or different. All right. Sometimes you'll have all 3 or 4 people might go to the same note. So you have to go find something else that isn't that note. And this is where listening to barbershop, singing tags, doing things that get you familiar with the barbershop sound help you to go find those notes. You know, what does a bass usually do? You know, what does a tenor, what's the natural harmony? What does it usually do? Usually above the lead. You know, what does the baritone usually do? They usually sing the thirds and the sevenths or some octaves with the bass. You know, there are places you can go to go look for a different note. But when you're woodshedding and you're sitting there waiting for a chord to happen, a really good woodshed lead will wait. They'll just wait for a chord to happen around them. So let's move on. And the reason we're moving, we'll wait, yes. And the reason we're moving on is because we can't do this because we don't have just 4 parts. So you're going to be influenced. Someone's going to have your note as a big gang sing kind of thing. Someone's going to have your note, so you won't be able to insist on it. All right, so success, go ahead. Rest of the slide is good for here. So you probably did have some success. The more often you try it, the more chord you'll get. And once you've repeated it a few times the same way, you're no longer woodshedding. You're actually arranging. So that you're arranging a chord, you're arranging a song as you find this harmony. All right, next slide. This is what it's good for. Yeah, what's the point? Why would I want a woodshed? Why would I want to be frustrated? All right, woodshedding is great for ear training, for all of these things. Tuning, listening skills, chord balancing, and it is fun. Trust me, it's fun for the people that are doing it, not necessarily for the people that are listening to it. All right. Anybody else think of anything that woodshedding would help with other than the list that I have? Getting to know people. I like that.
Clearing out a party.
What?
Clearing out a
Clearing
party.
out a party.
Taking chances and taking risks and just having fun, letting loose. Just
Trying other parts.
Yeah, other parts.
Yeah. And trying other parts, right? Similar to the tag singing idea where you can try different that Angie talked about last night. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So I said, what makes it fun? And Cupcake said, including non-singing or non-barbershop peeps. So finding a chord, any chord, finding a chord that works. And here's Cupcake's answer, interacting with the other parts. Because it's fun, because you look at somebody else and say, oh, they have that note. I got to go to this note, and you're consciously conscious of what's going on around you. And it's really fun when you're part of an unexpected chord, when someone makes you go in a direction that you didn't think that chord was going to go in. And actually, hang on one sec, because I want to check my speaker notes here, because I think this is where and now my presentation seems to be stuck as usual. All right, Kate, is this where I have my notes about it going somewhere?
Oh God, no, I'm panicking. No.
Okay, so I know where
But I
it is.
think we also we missed it on the success slide. So we can go back and do that now if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll do them in the order, right?
Yeah. I don't know why I can't see it on my, so much for being prepared with a second computer. It's frozen or something. All right, so what does it say down the bottom there, Kate? Yes. We talked about you no longer woodshedding, you're arranging. There's a particular quartet in this region, in this district, a men's quartet, that never learned any of their music by arrangement. Like they never got the music to anything. Everything that they sang, they woodshedded. And then they had a really good coach and friend at the time who was an arranger, Lou Perry, for those of you who have heard of him. And Lou would set down what they sang on paper and point out to them if they had any better suggestions, or something that might make a better chord or something else they could do. But basically, he just wrote down what they sang. And what I did is I asked, I'm going to ask Kate to play a few items from it. The first piece of this song that we're going to listen to, the first piece of this quartet, who is the Four Rascals, but for those who know who that is a good example of setting pillar chords. So listen to this.
Anytime you want me, honey, just to let me know. When you need a little affection and you're looking for somewhere to go.
Get the feel of that? How, they moved the chords when they had to move the chords. They just found those pillar chords. If they needed to, they could have sung all of the words with him. In this particular song, it was better for this to be a solo song with the background behind. But in this next song, which is just an example of an uptune that they woodshedded.
Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. She's a real good looker. Yes, sir, we've decided. No, ma'am, we can't hide it. Yes, sir, you're invited. Invited now. By the way, by the way, by the way, by the way. And when I hear that preacher, I'll say, here comes the bride all dressed in. Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby. Bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Okay, can I see everybody again, Kate? So the reason I selected this particular example of them doing this is because it reflects way back to the very first class that I did. Because we talked about echoes, we talked about swipes, we talked about glisses. Like, did you hear that that they did in the center? Hear that preacher, or whatever, wherever they did it. But all of that was just the lead singing the melody, and then the rest of them just making up the part around it. They had some patter in there. They had a lot of components of barbershop that they just made up as they went along. All right, now we're going to listen to their last sample, which is an example of a piece of a ballad that they would do. Totally different style.
Each night I would tuck them in their little bed, in the bed, and then hum a lullaby, strum a lullaby string.
Nice, huh? All right. So the only really reason that I wanted you to listen to them was to give you an idea of what can be done with woodshedding. And because I thought we might like to hear a little bit of actual harmony in the middle of this class of experimentation. So that's why you got some of that. So let's see the next slide, Kate. Oh, wait a minute. We have chat questions. Before we move on, can someone tell me what's in the chat who's my chat person?
Mary.
It would help if I unmuted. It said, do you woodshed the embellishments too, or just vertical cords?
Oh, you woodshed the embellishments too. Yeah, you woodshed everything that goes around that melody. Woodshedding is just harmonizing, and that's the way they chose to harmonize that song. The pillar chords were just step 2, right? Because we had step 1 where you listen to a melody. We had step 2 to find those pillar chords. We had step 3 where you listen to the lyrics and you don't move off a note unless you have to move off a note, but you're actually singing the song, and then you're making moves where you need to do it. And Sue just said some chords have more than one possibility for a note. So that's why you move as little as possible. We're actually going to, I think we're still, what's my note down the bottom, Kate, as far as what minute I'm supposed to be at right now?
$36.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Minutes, okay. All right, so let's move on to the next screen. So what makes it easy? Having harmony. When you sang harmony with your family, when you were growing up, if you sang harmony in school, it helps you develop that ear training. If you play guitar, or if you play piano, or if you play any instrument that's chord-based, it's much easier to be a barbershopper, right? And to be a harmony singer than if not. If you sing with experienced woodshedders, it's as easy as it can be because you only have one part left to choose. There's a missing note. You need to find it. And you don't need to, you don't have to decide what notes. Now, I said to stay sane was my next slide. Find a lead with patience. Don't go singing with somebody who wants to sing an arrangement. Don't go singing with somebody who wants to sing up to tempo. You want to sing with people that enjoy woodshedding and that have the patience to say, hey, I have this melody. That's good, Sally. I have this melody that I want to share with you guys. Let's see what kind of chords we can make out of it. And they need to have the patience to wait for those chords to hit. All right, next. Find a corner. It's not a spectator sport. This is not something you want to do in the middle of the RQA clubhouse. Avoid helpers and fifth wheels. Because if somebody's behind you giving you the notes, you're not learning how to woodshed. And if someone's throwing a fourth note in there, then then you have nothing left. You know, so this is why it really has to be only 4 people. Okay, next. And celebrate the successes, no matter how scarce. When you get a chord, it's high fives all around, which is part of what makes it fun. Okay, next. Here's some examples of some of the stuff I have that has woodshedding melodies in it and descriptions of what to do, how to woodshed. All right, next. So see that thing on the left, that pocket woodshedder? So now you see that pocket woodshedder. There's a list of the contents that are in that particular number 1 pocket woodshedder. And there's a little description on the right of what, you know, how it was compiled and the essential parts of it. Now, the next slide is going to show you a couple of songs from that pocket woodshedder. This is how they're set up. So you open this book up and there's a song. So you can hand that song. Now you know this first song. You had a dream. Well, you know that song, but you might not know the next song, right? So your lead singer would pick out a song that nobody knows out of this list of whatever, 49 songs or whatever, however many songs there were in this book. And then I also wanted to give you some resources that you could learn more about this on the, I believe on the next slide. Yep. You can take a screenshot of this or a camera shot of this, or you can go back and watch the presentation. But Paul Ogwin's, I think his name is pronounced. He does a woodshedding class. There's 25 minutes of it. I'm going to play just a touch of it, but not yet. There's group ear training class that was done. It's not really a woodshedding class. It's more gang sing, and this is how you find your part. There's ASO, which is the official woodshedding group. That would be the Ancient Harmonious Society of Woodshedders, of which I am a member. And there's a link to a barbershop article that has several more links in it and deals with a section that deals with woodshedding. But anyway, I thought you'd be interested. You know, we talked earlier in the week, and other people have talked about the circle of fifths. You know, what makes a melody simple? What makes a melody work? What is the implied harmony? And I thought you'd enjoy this little clip from that first woodshedding class. And I do belong to ASO. I got the shirt and the badge and everything.
Well, in the barbershop era, say from about 1911 to about 1930, most of the chords had this other ubiquitous pattern that we're very familiar with. So it started here on a 1 chord, and it went out often to this chord, and then to this chord, and then this chord, and then this chord, and back home. With songs like, sing along if you like, 5'2", eyes are blue, oh, what those 5 foot can do, has any... Good, and thousands of other songs. And those make for great barbershop harmony because they have 4 notes in the chord. And so the guy, the baritone guy who was normally just waiting for his haircut, he had some notes that he could sing as well.
I thought that was interesting, that type of thing. Dave Stevens does a wonderful presentation on it. If you want to go look that one up on the chords and how they work and how the circle goes. And he gives great demonstrations of a song that goes just from this chord to this chord and back. And then from this chord to this chord to this chord and back. And then, you know, he goes out all 7 chords. All right, next slide. More experienced shedder fund. So when ASO meets, they meet in a room. You have to qualify on at least 2 parts. other than the lead, because you can't sing the lead. So you have to sing 2 of the other parts. And you get your badge or your acceptance into the society if you successfully woodshed 2 other parts to a song. So there are rooms and hospitality rooms where people meet to do that. Like we meet to do tags with Heidi or something like that, right? So this one, if you force a chord in a direction you choose, this kind of goes back to what Sue Martin said, is there's more than one note that you can choose in a chord. And there's more than one chord that you can choose. So I'm going to have you listen to this before we move on. I'm going to sing with Diane, and I'm going to sing it really, really straight. Mm-hmm.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
So that's pretty square, vanilla. I only did what I had to do as a bass. But if I'm singing with more experienced woodshedders, I might want to play around with it a little bit. I'm hoping that most of you were kind of hearing your part in the harmony there between those 2 notes. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it again, and I want you to really think about what you would do against this sound.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
All right, so you have kind of an idea of what you would do with the harmony. Can I see everybody again, Kate? All right, now I'm going to do it, and I'm going to pretend I'm doing it with better woodshedders, and I can take some liberties without throwing them off.
Something happened to your sound, Karen.
No, I should be on. Am I on?
You got really quiet all of a sudden.
How is it now?
Same.
It's the volume. You're really low.
I'll bring this up a little.
Might have gotten unplugged.
Hmm?
Might have gotten unplugged is what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, plugged.
It was fine while you were singing.
Yeah. So I'm going to sing again. So this time I want you to notice what it might make you do differently.
Can't hear you.
I just muted and unmuted. Does that help?
Nope.
I don't know. What do I do? Microphone's plugged into a USB.
If you had the time, you'd go to settings and check your sound settings. But
Unplug and replug your microphone.
Yeah, already did that.
Okay, that didn't help.
Better? Anything?
No, it's still the same.
Go to the backup.
Should I do that? Choose a different
I can't.
microphone setting in Zoom. Let me see. Mute.
Yeah, I would check.
It's on the right one. All right, I'm going to try just using my regular microphone and see if that helps.
Yep, you're back.
That's it.
Okay, I'll use that instead of the good one. so I'm gonna do it again now.
Oh,
and I want you to
Karen, that's
notice-
what it is. You switched
What?
it back to the microphone. Move the microphone back now.
Okay,
Yes, perfect. We got it.
what happened?
I don't know, but it's fixed. So we're good.
Okay, good. Okay, smarter than I am. All right. So now I'm gonna do something and I want you to see if it makes you do something different this time than you did last time. Your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island. Forest, waters, this land was made for you and me. A little different?
Why was that easier?
Why was it easier?
Yeah.
Probably because I gave you more, because I forced you into more choices. I shouldn't say that. I narrowed your choices
Okay.
by saying, I'm going to be singing this chord. And so you had to kind of fit into the chord that I sang. So that's good. I'm glad to hear you say that.
It was very cool.
Yes. Yay.
It also reminded us that there are certain chords we remember from, as you said earlier, listening to lots of barbershop.
Yes.
As you swipe, just things like that. We could have swiped down in contrary motion or whatever, but it reminded us all the things we've heard before.
I'm curious, Cupcake, which part were you singing?
Tenor. I hear tenor. I woodshed tenor. I can't hear baritone. I have no idea how people can woodshed baritone.
I'm with you there, honey. I have no idea either.
That's funny because I was trying baritone.
Come on, it's easy.
So actually, I should tell you, when I first started singing barbershop, which was at age 15, when I was 17, I joined Merrimack Valley, and I had by then been going to parties where they sang tags and sang woodshedding and stuff, and I could naturally, easily do the tenor. And then after I sang bass for a few years, I could easily do the bass. It took me like a year and a half to hear the baritone. I could pick up a piece of music and sing it, but to be able to fit it in and find it, it took a year and a half. All right,
A year and a half is pretty short. I'm going on 40 years and I still can't do it.
So let's see the next slide. Let's do it for real. Anybody ever heard this one?
Nope.
Has anyone? If you have, unmute yourself, but you probably
Yes,
have.
it tells you I'm really, really old is what it tells me.
You have heard it? Who's that?
Yeah. Well, Cupcake.
Oh, okay.
I did a lot of woodshedding. My mom was desperate to have people sing with her in the house. So as a kid, I sang tenor, my sister sang lead, my mother sang baritone, my brother sang bass. So we did a lot of tagging and woodshedding, and all of this old stuff came up.
Okay. Can someone blow a G from where you are? I can get it on my phone, but I thought G would be a comfortable key for you guys. So step number one is you listen to the melody. This is the key that it's in, do, sol, mi, do. Yep. So listen to the melody. Goodbye, my rosebud, my heart's bouquet. You will be sorry when my ship sails away. But if you miss me, little girl, don't cry. to you, Rosebud, goodbye.
I love it. I love it.
They're pretty. All right, so I just picked this. I don't know this song either. I just picked this out of that book, out of one of the pocket. No, out of one of the out of one of the pocket woodshedder books. And then I wrote my other good buddy in rhythm method, Sally Jeffrey, and I said, "Can you take this out of B flat and stick it in G for me, so that everybody can look at it and not be freaked out?"
Thank
So
you,
she
Sally.
she did her little crescendo thing and
Yes, you're
and did
welcome.
this for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
So now I'm going to sing it again,
Yeah.
and you're going to sing
Yep.
against it.
Okay.
So everybody needs to be mute at this point. Is that a good key, by the way, for everybody? I was hoping you'd say you want it lower, but that's okay. Oh, don't worry. I put it lower. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Except I need to see that music. So can we spotlight the music again? So here we go while you're on mute. Good. There's a do, do, mi, so, do. So probably basses, you're probably going to start here. Baritones, you're going to start here. Tenors, you're going to start there. I'll give you your first clue. So here we go. Good. Goodbye, my rosebud, my heart's bouquet. You will be sorry when my ship sails away. But if you miss me, little girl, don't cry. Call and I'll come to you, Rosebud, goodbye. So I tried to hold on a little bit so that you could find some chords in there. So remember, the first step was just listen. The second step should have just been oohing and humming. I'm sure some of you were probably singing along.
Well,
I forgot to mention that. But finding those pillar chords should have been that second step. All right, so now I'm going to do it again. And you're going to do it just harmonizing all over the place. Wow. Sorry about that. This time I'll do it in key again. Here we go. 2, 3. Goodbye, my rosebud, my heart's bouquet. You will be sorry when my ship sails away. But if you miss me, little girl, don't cry. Call and I'll come to you, Rosebud, goodbye. Okay, let me see everybody again. All right, so one of the reasons I chose this song was because it also has a lot of great places where you can make up swipes. Were some of you already doing that?
Yes, we were.
So can you show them the music and show them me, Kate, or not?
Yes, I think I can do.
So we're going to do it one more time.
You got 5
And I'm
minutes.
going to tell you when to do swipes.
Keeping you honest.
All right, are we good? Here we go. 2, 3, go. Goodbye, my rosebud. Actually, I'll only show the swipes. My heart's content when you will be sorry when my ship sails away. But if you miss me, little girl, don't cry. Call and I'll come to you. Rosebud, goodbye. So how many of you got all the swipes in there? All right. All right, it's 9:07. We have a choice. I can give you one other song that you've never heard of, and we can harmonize through it, or we can do a Q&A. Which would you rather?
One more song, please.
All right, next slide. So first time you're just going to listen. Bum. So G again, let's see. I don't know why I'm flatting. I don't usually. Bum. Once, probably because I'm singing frickin' lead.
Oh, yeah.
So here's how it goes.
Spectacular job, bass, my dear.
Once. So here we go again. So you're going to listen. Once more, say you'll be mine. Once more, my Valentine. Words of love I need to hear them just once more. We'll just go that far. All right, so now this time find the pillar chords. Give me the G again. Much better. Once, here we go. Pillar chords. Once more, say you'll be mine. Once more, my Valentine. Words of love I need to hear them just once more. All right, now we're gonna sing it one more time. Are there any leads out there that would like to sing this for me instead? We don't have a volunteer. By the way, you guys that are still sticking to this class,
yeah,
let's woodshed together some regional weekend.
You can count on it.
Because we lost like 25 people who went, this is not for me.
Right.
All right. Once, here I go again.
Yep.
Bum, once, bum, right? Bum.
Yep.
Okay. Once, here we go. Now you're going to put some stuff in it. Once more, say be mine. Once more, my Valentine. Everybody hear the in that?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
Well, I made the key change. I mean, a better chord on Words of Love.
Words, 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 words. Probably, right?
Yes, yes.
Words of love, 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 love. Maybe. I need to hear them. Just might be the tenor note. Just once more. And if I were the lead, I might go just once more.
Oh, yes.
And what did that make you do? You had to get off your note and go find a totally different big spread note.
Right.
Right? All right. I think that's good enough. Let's see the last slide. And we are 2 minutes late.
But we don't care. We had fun. And you said,
Congratulations, you're a woodshedder. And I should have said, anybody who lasted till now, it's a woodshedder. Practice, 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 but mostly have fun. I hope you found it valuable. It would probably be a lot more valuable in person, in a class where everybody can listen and everybody can hear. But I'm hoping some of the techniques were helpful and made you a little less afraid of trying this out.
I feel much more prepared for the woodshed party in August.
There we go. Last Saturday in August, everybody can come woodshed at my house. We should all have our vaccines by then.
Hope so. Thanks,
Any
Karen. This was
questions?
really fun.
Karen, this was so much fun. Thank you
It
very
really
much.
was.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen.